Hello, everyone. I'm Rob Smith, the Smith of the Black channel here at Ticker Talker. As we get into the end of the year, things drying up a little bit right now. So let's take a look. So there's a few things that we want to be aware of. First of all, if you look at the daily SPY in the upper left, you'll notice this doji doing nothing, completely within yesterday's range, right? And nowhere near taking that out, right? So you can see when you have an inside bar, there's a reason you don't want to trade that, right? It gets worse as you look at the 60 in the lower left. Now, here, look at the range gets even worse. So the hopes is at least you got an equilibrium, inside bar here, and then it's going to break one of these either way, all right? So the question is, how far is it really going to go? But at least you have that. But you always want to know that you have this problem here, because what we want to do is we either want to go like yesterday, take out the high and then change continuity, go red, and then take out the low and become an outside bar. And you see that was pretty nice, right? Or we want to know, are we taking out one side of the previous range? And so if you go to the monthly, you're going to see this. We're taking out the highs. That's a 2 up, right? So we just go to the highs. That's exhaustion risk, and that doesn't mean they're going to reverse and kill them, right? We'd have to have a reversal, which we do not have. And so when you see this, tomorrow could be maybe fairly interesting, because if we can stay inside here, when you have an outside bar followed by an inside bar, when this inside bar breaks, the magnitudes take out either of these sides. So maybe tomorrow gets interesting, but we'll see. A lot of things drying up here as we come to the end of the year. A lot of people are just going to take the holiday week off and call it a year. I wouldn't be against that. But that's why we're here to try and dig up what we can. So we did have crude oil. And crude oil gives us the outside bar here. And so we have the number, excuse me, coming out. And you'll see this crude broadening formation, lower lows, take them out, higher highs, right? And so here, this gap down, but then came back up on the 15th. So this is still a 2 down, right? And you can see this slight broadening formation here too. Comes down here, and then here, boom, there's your 2-2 reversal, right? Goes blasting up to the highs. And then when it reverses, starts coming back down, here's something we look for. The outside bar followed by a 2 up. Boom, the 2-2 reversal following a 3. We're going to take this out at least, right? And boom, down she goes. So then you start back in the middle and doing nothing and chop them up. And that's what you can expect here when you see this weekly upper middle here doing nothing. It was trying to take out the inside weak, but then comes back into it. But in general, doing nothing. Like a lot of things, you want to know what things are doing nothing. If you go to QQQ and QQQ, you'll see this in the upper left here, stalling out, still an inside day, right? That's no good, because you can see. Look at this 15 minute. Started off, and then they had a little hit here, take these guys out, and now it's stuck back in the middle. How are we going to get out of there? If we go to here, you're going to see the weekly, the upper middle. It is still inside week and up. You're just running out of week and running out of year. So one of the important things to understand is that when I talk about exhaustion risk by price and time, is that we are about to have new yearlies, quarterlies, monthlies, weeklies, dailies, 60-minute charts come next week, right? So we don't know until we pull up the scan here. So one of the things that we'll constantly scan for is it's very important to understand that the direction of the market will trade in the concentration of the most twos and twos going 3. Let me pull the chart up and what I mean by that. So if you go here on the monthly, it's taking out the previous high, right? And so if we look at the concentration on the monthlies, how many are doing that? Called a 2 to the upside, right? I can tell you what the market's doing without looking at it. So we always want to know how many of those we have in the direction. So like on the daily SPY, once again, or failed to going 3 and changing continuity to the downside, right? Those are the two things that are going to tell us the direction of the market. So because we're starting off a new year, quarter, month, we will have 0 of those, none of them, right? So what we'll watch is how many of the monthly breaks and weekly breaks go in the same direction, right? And that'll tell us what way the market's going. So come Monday morning, we got 0 of that. And so you'll see here when I scan, it's always a sequence where we want to know how many of the monthlies are taking out one side or failing and going back through. Then we want to reconfirm that with the weeklies, right? And then reconfirm that with the dailies, because when you have a big concentration, that's when we know the market's going to continue, right? So if we had this earlier in the year, but now we're going to have nothing. So here it'll be yesterday's highs. Let me see, what am I time frame am I on? Weekly. So here, if you go to the weeklies, here. So these are all the things. Let me go to the volume first. These are all the things taken out last week's highs, and you got your Teslers and your FCXs and Macy's and Intels and all this kind of stuff, right? But come Monday morning, that all goes to zero, right? And so we're going to start scanning. Also, we don't uncouple for another week, and what that means is that we want to have separate openings. So on Monday morning, you'll have the 60 daily, weekly, and monthly. All those openings are the same, right? And so because the month starts next Monday, all week, the weekly and the monthly opening are going to be the same until the following Tuesday, second hour, right? That's where we start to uncouple, where we have four separate openings, because we want to be able to identify participation groups by price and time. All right, so that's what's going on. So other than that, we did have, well, let's go back to Teslers and Tesla. Tesla doing this. So Tesla, here if you go to the upper left, let's go to 60 maybe. Go to that 30, sorry. There we go. So here, if you go to the upper left, this is what we look for as far as setups. All right. We want to have corrective activity. All right. So here, took out the previous high, took out the previous low, and you come in today, boom, above here with continuity. When this is green, these two bars form an outside bar of this, because we know that phenomenon exists, correct? We do. Now, if that works, it's reconfirming the monthly, which is bright green, albeit going into new highs. And it's an inside week in the upper middle to the upside here above 668.50. Now trading 684.40. Tesla still getting it done. We had some China stuff really moving here, some PDD. And PDD, now we're getting our corrective activity, but this came firing out of the gate real strong here and go down to 15er. Now it's starting to correct, and here you can see this inside on the 15. Right there was a nice move for it. So now we get the corrective activity to see if things start to dry up. Once again, now it's inside on the 60. This bar was inside of this, and now even tighter. Right? So we want to see like I said, when you have these inside days and the futures and all this kind of stuff, things can tend to get worse, right? So you want to be real careful on a day like today, right? As the day goes on. We also had Baidu. And Baidu just comes shooting out like a gun. So you can see this monthly in the lower middle. As you come into the end of the month, or like, you want to make sure that you're trading something that has a nice long green bar, right, on the long side, right? Otherwise, you're trading something that's doing nothing, and we'll get to that in a second. But here you go into the highs after chopping them up in here in the daily a little bit. We'll see if Baidu sets up again. And here, outside bar. So here is where it reverses. As soon as this thing goes green and starts going back up, you'll notice it's green on all these time frames, and that's why we call the bottom of the hour the flip. We want to know if this 60 starts going back green, because if it does, it's green on all time frames, which tells me the participation groups are all aggressive because on the buy side, because they're taking the offer, they're not sitting on the bid. If we go to FCX, and FCX now starting to come in a little bit, just a nice long green bar here. And so one of the things we look for, upper left, the outside bar, then counter down, then come back through, because when we take this out, we're taking that out, right? And if we do that with the 60 green, all time frames are green. That means the participation groups by price and time, as far as we know it, are all taking the offer. Now we just stall out a little bit. We'll see if that sets up again for you. BILI, Billy Baru. And Billy, here's one of the things, nice long green bar, right? That's what we want. And so, like when I say at the end of the month or halfway through the month, we want to start tracking those. Just like today, on a day like today, I'm tracking the daily long green bars. When you get to a Tuesday, Wednesday, you want to track the weeklies. That tells you that the buyers are active. So if you go down to a 30-minute, you're going to see this. This bar was inside of this, and then it slightly pokes down for your rev strat. 1, 2, boom. No reversal against you. It's going back to the highs, and then maybe it exhausts, maybe it doesn't. But that's what it did. It worked. We did have some strength in SMH here. And once again, here's your 2 down, taking up previous low, and then boom, here's your reversal right here. And then these 2 bars becoming outside of this. Now, a little tricky in here because not doing much on the week in here, albeit a rev strat because it's 1, 2 back up. But that just tells you can start to look around for the different strength over there. Right now you've got MU here going 2 down. Boop. There's your reversal. These become an outside bar of that, which causes the outside bar on the week. All right. And you just got yourself an inside 30 in here. Might even be a 60 for you. Directional inside 60. You're going to see this here. This inside bar is here. You just want to make sure it keeps going because when we talk about exhaustion risk, we want to be coming back to a previous range like this, right? Because you're going to notice this. Broadening formation. So the question is, can it get out of there? You do have your signal, but that's what I mean about exhaustion risk and directionally trading. You got BILI, Billy going into the highs. We got Cree. And Cree, once again, what we want to look for is this. Upper left, outside bar, 2 down, boop, 2-2 reversal. So far, we'll see if it finishes the job. It's stalling out here, but hopefully, without a reversal, it would take this out, right? Because these two would become a broadening formation of this. The problem is the market's drying up and maybe nothing does anything. Biden going back to the highs, though. If you go to TWOU, and TWOU, once again, upper left, all right? Outside bar, pokes down, boom, there's your reversal back into the old 3, above 40.71. That's what we look for. Now, the problem is still an inside week. That'd be an issue. But we do have this, and you do have green on the month. So we'll see if that sets up again for you there, too. If we go to EDU, and EDU, if you go to the lower middle, you're going to see how it poked down here and now changed green and is coming back through. And we know outside bars exist, right? Because it causes an outside weak in the upper middle to try and take out all these highs. You'll also notice that upper left, 2 down by taking out the previous lows. Boom. These 2 bars become an outside bar of all that and then some and keep going. So we'll see. ACMR. And ACMR. Here's your inside day, upper left, following an outside day. So just like this, that could be the setup in the SPY if we stay inside today. And that's something you'd want to know about because the magnitude is to take out either that or that when you take this out. And then when you come back to the previous range, good things tend to happen. And you got a nice outside bar here on the week, doing all right. If we go to, let's go to MA. And MA, here, you're going to look at the weekly, right? You're going to see this upper middle. Inside bar, slight poke down. There's your rev strat back through, and that tells you to take a look at Visa. We'll see if that sets up again. So Visa, you can see once again also the inside weak, the poke down, boom, back to the previous range and going through the highs. And it looks like I'm running out of time again, but what we do have is notable exceptions here. Facebook, that's 322 down here on the daily, right? We're losing Google, all the big boys, not participating and having fun. That was a 2 up, 2 down. We've got Apple here taking out yesterday's lows. So a lot of these big boys not participating. That's a problem. You've got SGen in the bio coming in just a bit. but we'll see how that goes. So be careful here because things can tend to really dry up. Make sure you're trading things when you trade the second half of the day, especially on a day like today. You're trading something that's nice, long, red, and green, and has some of those magnitudes that I just showed you. All right, that's going to do it for today. I'm Rob Smith, the Smith's Black Channel here at Ticker Talker with the Strat Time Report.